Welcome back to Mama and Her. Today's topic, we are talking all things dating and finding the one. I am Kayla, she is Shannon. And all right, quarter two underway. So I guess if we're going to be talking dating, we might as well... Shan wrote, let's drop our dating resume. I was like, okay.
Listen, mine is pretty empty.
I definitely think mine has a good share of its ups and downs.
Okay.
When it comes to dating, honestly, started way too early.
Okay.
I had my first boyfriend in high school, specifically in grade 9, because I was that girl that I thought I was so grown at such an early age. I grew up very fast.
You had to, yeah.
And I remember entering high school, getting out of that early awkward puberty stage, and then entering, I was the tallest girl in elementary, like felt just so awkward in elementary and middle school. And then I got to high school, and then all of a sudden I was around older boys who I got their attention. And so then I was dating someone way older. I remember like he was in grade 12, I was in grade 9. Yeah. And so I look back at that and oh gosh, like I don't want to say that there's regret, but I just feel a bit sad for like the younger version of me. Lost my virginity very young because I felt like, or at least I thought I had to give my body as a way to show that like that was love, when in reality that was so far from the truth.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any better back then. And I didn't have anyone in my life at the time to be like, this is very important. This is sacred. You hold on to this. You don't do that. I was just told, don't get pregnant, don't have a kid.
Right.
That's it. Not why.
The why.
And how it's important and how you're precious and how you are
soul ties and all that stuff.
Yeah. So that was my introduction to dating, honestly. And then from there, I stayed clear of guys. I was very focused at one point, especially during my high school years with sports school, right? Wanting to get that volleyball scholarship. And I did that. And then, you fast forward in life, like when I got to college, I dated a few guys and they were always athletes.
I was going to say, were they athletes?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, naturally, right? Like being an athlete yourself, like you just, I think that's, at least for me, like that's what I was attracted to.
Same.
And yeah, I think I guess you could call him a college sweetheart. I had one. And I think that was the first time I felt like, oh, I'm going to marry this guy. But in the end, like that didn't happen. And that's fine. We just weren't right for each other. And then that sort of, you fast forward in life, like I was in my 20s. That's when I was jumping around like all over the place as far as playing volleyball. Like I was in the Philippines, I was in Jamaica, I was overseas in Europe for a little bit, and then I came back. And
did you casually date during that time or no?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Here and there, but not. Well, I guess that is the definition.
That would be casually
I guess that is the definition of casual
dating.
Yeah, and then when it came to my previous marriage, we met in 2016. We started dating in 2018. We were engaged by 2019.
Yeah, it happened fast.
We married in 2021, had Kennedy in 2022, and then we separated in 2023.
That's a crazy timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like when I wrote that down, I was like, wow, I can't even believe that all of that has passed.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah. And then I find myself now as a single mom over the last 2 years, quite honestly, as I've been going through this separation and adapting to this new life, I've had zero interest or desire to date.
Yeah. There's so much more to try to figure out. And
right. There's been just way more on my priority list.
Yeah. And plus you have Kennedy to consider. Whoever
Big
you
time.
bring into your life is going to maybe eventually be in her life.
Not maybe.
Well, depending how far they get is what I'm saying.
Right.
Because they have to earn that. I'm assuming the right to be in her presence.
For sure. But even outside of just the dating part of it, like these last 2 years, I needed to heal myself.
Yeah.
I had to, with a combination of my faith in God, family and friends, therapy, church, I had to heal from what I went through. And I think, for me too, the unfortunate reality, and I know that a lot of women can relate to this, is my first relationship as a teenager and my first marriage both ended in infidelity.
Oh.
And I think that's something I've had to really work through as a woman, especially now as I am in this, I guess, hiatus chapter of my life where I'm not dating anyone. And I want to make sure that when I am ready, when I do feel the timing is right, that I want those broken pieces of myself to be fully and wholly healed. Because I do believe that healthy love exists.
Yes, and your future partner deserves that, and you deserve that, and Kennedy deserves that.
Exactly.
And there's no time to self-sabotage or to work through that while you're in that relationship too.
And quite frankly, I haven't felt the rush.
Well, yeah. There's nothing to have to rush because you have so much time.
Yeah, and I think honestly, in this season, I've become very content.
That's really
in this
beautiful.
Healing.
Also, instead of filling your life with somebody, a human or a person, you're filling your life with God and God's love and word. And that is just going to make you such an amazing person and partner and mother when you decide to, or when you meet your person and start to date. So I think that's such a great thing. And it's so easy to fall into something, to feel comfort, to feel love, to feel seen.
And when I've seen it in other people when they make that decision, I can't fault them. I get it.
No, it's a vulnerability thing.
Yeah, and it is very difficult to choose a uncommon path of, okay, I'm going to just sit with myself. I'm going to sit with God. I'm going to sit in this isolation, and I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to heal. I'm going to address things inside that are not.
That comes with maturity too, right? I don't know. You never know, like, if this happened when you were a little bit younger, how you would have reacted. Plus, you're a mom now.
Right.
So I commend you. But yeah, it's so easy just to like have something to fill a void, whether it's whatever it is.
Exactly. But in this case, as far as, with relationships.
Yeah.
So that would be my resume, girl.
Girl, that's not bad. I mean, it's pretty,
I told you, it's had its ups and downs, that's for sure. But and that's another thing too, like we bring two very different perspectives. So let's talk about yours.
Okay, well, I'll be honest. I had no interest in boys for a very long time because people would say I was an ugly duckling, and there was literally no attention given to me for a very long time. Well, first of all, I felt out of place due to the fact that I am of mixed race and I grew up in a very white town. So I didn't feel like I knew who I was. So, but I was also like, my curly hair was like, it just wasn't.
The beauty standards weren't in your favor.
No. And, I figured it out later, but I was so focused on sports and extracurriculars that I literally was just laser focused. And it just, even if I was interested in boys or there were boys interested in me, which I don't think there were at that time, it was like, I got to go to practice. So I'm so grateful for sports because I feel like if I didn't, maybe I would have, there were friends like doing drugs, being sexually active, especially in middle school, that I was just like, what? Like, I don't have time for this. So I'm grateful for that. Also, I'm going to say that my mom, she drilled it in me that every time I did later in life date someone, that was a non-negotiable. We were not having sex until marriage. And it was like, I stood firm on that for a very long time, into my 20s. And it was because she told me how sacred my body was and how God created me for my future husband and whatnot. And that not anyone can just come into this space and occupy it. Yeah. And she did talk about the consequences, pregnancy. She didn't touch on STDs or eyes or whatever, but she just talked about how bringing someone into your world and into your intimate space, it can take a piece of you. It literally scared I was scared. I was like, it was such a beautiful, and I wish I could tell her because I never did.
Because it wasn't from fear.
It wasn't.
It was, listen, I'm sharing wisdom that is beyond your years, that trust me, when you get older, you will appreciate.
So she waited till she was married. So my dad was her one and only partner. I know. Beautiful, right? In grade 8, I did start playing basketball at a pretty high level, and I did meet someone who, a boy who was just very much like me. We became best friends. So he was my first love. Like I called it a puppy love. He lived in Scarborough, and I lived in Aurora, and it was just so sweet. Like we'd write letters. He'd take the bus to Aurora. My parents actually let him sleep over on the couch. Like it was just because we were best friends.
Yeah.
But he had called him my boyfriend, but literally it was just like very innocent.
Yes.
Holding hands, kissing on the cheek, playing ball until till the moon came out. So it was the best first relationship I had, and it taught me respect. He never tried to step over a boundary,
right?
Even though he might have wanted to be intimate and actually maybe cross that line with me, I just told him no, and he respected it. It was long distance, so obviously it just ended. I was sad, but I just knew that wasn't the right. I figured if we were supposed to be married, we'll meet each other again later in life. It didn't happen. And then I went to university, didn't date anyone after that because I was with him for my whole high school, but my whole high school years, but we never saw each other. So I was basically single. But I was so focused on sports and whatnot. And then, university. Oh my gosh. Being naive is a problem. And I feel like that is the one thing I wish I was more prepared on, like in terms of my mother being real about, like, men are going to try to approach you. Cause now my ugly duckling stage
is gone.
It's fading away. It's fading. And I've come into myself. She's cute. She's cute. And I was very confident, and I embraced my culture and who I was. And now I'm like going to a university where people look like me, and I'm surrounded by my people. So yeah, anyways, I met someone who I thought would have been my husband, first love. I lost my virginity to him. That was, I do regret that completely. That was more so like I don't know, when you think you're in love with someone, like you think that equates to sex, and that is just not the case.
Especially if you're not taught the difference.
Which I think my mom missed that little tidbit, and I don't blame her. She did great because I was 20 something, and it was a sacred thing for me. But then obviously, as our relationship went on, it was not healthy. He, wasn't who I wanted to be with, but it was unhealthy. It was an unhealthy relationship for many years, 4 years at university. And I wish there were guys at university I wish I dated who really liked me, but I was very, very, very loyal to this person.
Sure.
And he used and abused that, and I learned the hard way. I had my heart broken. I had to go to therapy it was horrible. My mom had to literally lift me off the floor. But again, so many lessons learned. God protected me through the whole thing.
Right.
Thank God. Thank you, God.
And then that ultimately led.
Yeah. And then, a year I'm taking off. I'm like, I am not talking to nobody. And then Paul walks into the gym. I'm like, ooh. So that's my dating resume. I literally did not date. So I'm going to be living my dating life through you now. Cause I just.
Well, wait a second.
What?
I mean, slow your horses.
Well, listen, I just am excited for this chapter for you because it's just exciting. I mean, it's like you're reliving a chapter of your life that you might not have be able, not to say like you're excited about this because of what happened, but like this is exciting. It's going to be really exciting for me, especially from the outside. Okay, so we're going to talk about the dating world then versus now quickly because it's different, right? So I met Paul in a gym. I met all my people through sports or at the gym. I do not recommend meeting someone at the gym nowadays because
not in 2025.
The gym is a wild, wild west out there. Like, wow, I've heard some really bad stories.
Crazy stories.
Crazy. So, I mean, back then I felt like there was men wanting to court you, date you, treat you. You weren't as accessible, so there was no like creeping because social media. It wasn't as fake and fast from my experiences. But again, like I dated, this is like a long time ago. I feel like now there's like scams, the catfishing, like the expectations of being physical, like as soon as you meet the person.
Well, the apps that are literally geared to that.
Part of me was like, I just want to see the app. I don't know. Can I swipe? Anyways. Can you get the app so I can swipe for you? Oh, but we'll just pretend. Okay.
No.
Anyways, because now you're in both worlds. So what do you think?
I mean, I think to your point, I think it is a bit exciting that I can at least say I'm at the point where perhaps this is the year I'm open.
Okay.
I'm open to
yeah.
to dating, or to at least, whatever God has for me in that, realm. But I know me, and I know that there are just some things that just because now I have to get back out there and date in 2025 that I'm going to do, i.e. apps. I've never had, so similar to you, I've always met my, partners in person in one way, shape, or form, whether it be through sports or like an encounter or an introduction by somebody, whatever the case is. But I've never, ever downloaded a dating app. I don't even, so you're like, can you swipe? I don't even know what they look like.
I don't feel like you might need an app, because I feel like apps, from what I heard, is for people who aren't social, who maybe don't go out a lot.
Yeah, but I'm not all that social.
I feel like
sometimes.
you're out on the streets all the time.
First of all, no, I'm not. I'm not in these streets, nor do I have any desire to be in these streets.
Listen,
and that's the problem. And so, but
you can meet your man at a grocery store.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I was like, listen, God, I'm not downloading these apps. I don't care if it's 2025. I'm old school in that way. So that's not happening. So, I mean, I have a routine, right? Like I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah, I work out. I go to the grocery. I do things, but like I'm not just out in spaces where.
But you can also meet your man at church.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely,
I mean, friends who have a friend. I feel like that is a big thing. Yeah. Referrals.
But overall, when it comes to everything I have heard from just listening to friends, colleagues, whoever talk and describe the apps, it sounds ghetto.
It does. So we're gonna stay. I do know two people that met their husbands off that.
I know a few success stories, but
before getting to that person, it was
rough.
It was therapy was needed. Okay, so before we wrap up this quarter, you are entering, like we said, this new stage of dating. So I'm calling this how are you going to learn to date again? And just tell me how you're going to navigate that as a new, new in the dating world, a single mom. You've been there, done that. What are you going to do?
I think first I had to shift my perspective, because there are many times where the thought of I can't even believe I'm here.
Yeah, I've heard
crosses my mind, right? Because which really still stems back from the idea of any person, I will say guy or girl, that gets married never expects divorce or just plans for it, right? So then the fact that I'm I can't even believe I'm here, potentially entering dating again. Yeah. Because I never thought I would even be here. Yeah. So I've had to shift that focus of, okay, but you are. And so now what? Yeah. Right? So there's that. And honestly, that's part of the reason why I said I'm not in any rush, because when I do, when I say yes, I want to genuinely be open. I do not want to let the experiences that I have gone through harden my heart, give me a jaded perspective, and make overarching assumptions. Yes, for all men.
Yeah, you can't.
Because I genuinely do believe there are good men out there.
Yeah,
that there are, and like I said, I said it before. I'll say it again. I believe that healthy love exists.
Yes,
and
your person is out there. Do you believe that there's more than one person for you?
Yeah. So I actually just had this conversation with a friend. Do you believe in a soulmate, or do you believe that is there just one, or can there be multiple? I think there can be multiple.
Yeah, same. I do.
Yeah. Well, on that note, that wraps up quarter two. We might as well end there.
Yeah, we might as well.
Say that's a good ending spot. So we are going to take a quick break, but coming up in our third quarter of the show, in the second half, a lot of you know the show on YouTube when it comes to those red balloons. We are going to take our spin on it here at Mama and Her. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the third quarter.
All right. So in talking about love and dating again and all things, listen, you guys out there, you know the show, what the balloons represent. So we decided at Mama and Her to kind of do what would make us pop our balloon edition, Kayla and Shannon edition.
Yes.
Now, obviously, for context, Shannon is happily married. However,
yes,
we're gonna pretend as if you were single again.
Yes.
And whereas since I am single,
I want to play this with you. This is fun.
Yes. So we're gonna bring in our trusty social media manager, Miss Malaika, and Malaika, you have some questions for us, right? So we're just gonna dive right in.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
Okay, question 1. If he shows up late to your first date because...
No. What? Late? That's it. No.
Scared me.
Sorry. You're not supposed to hesitate. Do you want to hear more about why he's late? Are you giving him grace?
Context, grace. Yes. What was the reason?
First date, no.
Okay, because his barber took too long.
Oh, heck
Are you cutting him some slack or cutting him loose?
Girl, why? Wow. Listen.
Okay, well, see, I asked for context.
Okay, honestly, if he was late because of something that was really bad, I reverse it, but no.
I reverse it.
It's the first time we're meeting. No.
So
get your act together. You need to figure it out before anything happens.
Again,
Pre-plan.
and see, for me, I'm like, well, wait a second. How late is late? Are we talking a minute here, or are we talking
How late
an hour?
are you when you're late for practice? If you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
Oh gosh. See, and this is why I have more grace for this question, because I am a late individual. And so if I'm a few minutes behind, I can't expect, if someone does that to me, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. A few minutes I can understand. Now, however, if we're talking an hour, okay, now we got a problem, right?
Okay, well,
so
I promise.
you were just quick with it. My God. Okay, let me grab another balloon.
I know what I want.
The next question.
Okay. Question 2. If he's shorter than you in heels, is that a deal breaker? Or are you fine with leaning down for kisses?
He's shorter than me in heels.
Yes.
Listen, I'll tell you why, Pop. I'm short. So if you're... I need to have tall babies. They need to be playing sports.
Listen,
so
I am confident enough in my genetics and my athletic ability that old me would have popped the balloon as soon as you did.
Okay, I love it. Yeah.
New me, my future husband might be a short king.
That's okay.
And if so, I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
Because the context is in heels. Listen, okay, I'm in heels.
But you
today,
are, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Exactly, I'm 5'5".
You know you're not.
I'm 5'5" and a half.
No, you are not.
5'5" and
Okay, this is gonna
3/4.
be a whole
I don't even hit the 5'6" mark.
Shannon
Ask my
Adele
doctor.
Bartley, stop
Ask my
it.
doctor.
You are not 5'5". Anyway,
I look like I'm tall. My arm span is, my hands are, everything's massive except my height.
okay, she's not 5'5", but okay. Anyway,
I'm 5'5" and 3/4.
so the point is, if a guy is shorter than me with my heels on, which let's be honest,
It
I
might
don't even wear
happen.
heels as often as I did when I was like, let's say in my 20s.
Okay.
That's fine because I'm in my flats most of the time.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Yes, as a tall girl, I absolutely used to think that was like a big
must, yeah.
must. But
I like that.
I'm willing
Okay. Okay.
that's fine.
Shorties out there, you got a chance?
Okay, I didn't say. Look, now you. Oh my God.
Okay.
Next question.
Question 3. He plays video games on his lunch break.
That's an addiction.
Not even that.
Dude,
Bro,
eat your lunch. Talk to
listen.
me on your lunch break.
I'm all for hobbies and everything, but again, at my age, I highly. How do I say this? I don't want someone who is still super obsessive video game stage.
Yeah.
I get it. A lot of men go through it, but I'm more like, listen, do we have the console at home? Sure, absolutely. Are you playing it every single lunch break? Then there's a problem.
I agree.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that.
Okay, next question. He travels for his job.
Oh. I don't mind because then I can come with him. Or I can get some free time to myself.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm fine with that.
I'm not popping the balloon.
Yeah, no.
Question 5. If his idea of fine dining is splitting the check at Red Lobster, you're saying chow, okay.
These girls are split. Red Lobster. I love me Red Lobster.
Okay, but let me, again.
It's a first date, right?
No, well, it said
it's
fine. His idea of fine dining is Red Lobster.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I am not too proud for some of those cheddar biscuits. However,
I'll take some to home. I'm taking some home.
however, baby, if that is the cream of the crop,
Yeah, no. Listen, yeah, no.
and that's coming from two women, like, because we're very, what's the word?
Low ma- No,
I mean,
we're not super bougie.
exactly, but that's what I'm saying. If Red Lobster is the cream of the crop, baby.
Fine dining.
God bless you.
Question 6. If he doesn't own one pair of Jordans, is that a no-go?
Sorry.
Okay, sneakerhead over here thinks that's a problem. I personally do not care, but
I can't. Like, me and my children can have better shoes than my man.
I mean, he can have other.
Listen, I'll buy them for him, but like he at least has to have like one nice pair that he's taking care of and invested in. That's all. It's just important. I know it's so
It's not
superficial.
important. I don't care. As long as he has his own nice sense of style, I'm cool.
I'm happy for you. The joke is, Paul doesn't even care about shoes, but like I bought him all his nice shoes. He did.
There you go.
He did have one pair though, clearly, or else we wouldn't be here today.
Question 7. How would you feel if he calls his mom every day and she still does his laundry?
Girl, that's laundry for me. I love that. I love a close mom-son relationship.
This is like the pin is.
Well, what's wrong with the so my brother and my mom had a very close relationship, and I thought it was beautiful. And did she do his laundry? Maybe sometimes, but I'm thinking like when Neo gets older.
I was about to say this is her being a boy mom coming through right now. Okay.
But also, if you're gonna do my, let's just say, husband's laundry or my boyfriend's, like less things for me to do. But then he doesn't know how to do it though. I don't know.
I'm just saying, as long as there are healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries, yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say to that.
But I love when a son is close to their
Absolutely.
I love that.
That part, no, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as long as there's healthy boundaries, I guess I'll leave it at that.
Can she do my laundry too, though?
I mean, then it's great.
Right? Anyways, yeah. I think, yeah.
Question 8. Would you date a guy who says, I love kids, but only other people's?
Oh. Ow, that hurt.
I love kids, but only other people's. So he's not trying to have his own?
No.
Or, well then, yeah, obviously. No.
Yeah, no.
Well, because
I mean,
here's the thing. I've thought, and I think that maybe perhaps women who are in a similar boat as me, and they have kids already, you have to be willing and open that you could be dating someone who has their own, right? And you're going into maybe a potential blended family situation, or they may not have kids. And so if they don't have kids,
wait, then they're saying that they would, in your situation, they're saying that they actually don't want more, but they will love yours. No? Because they're saying, yeah, because she's saying, I love kids, but they're not mine. So this person's saying, I don't want to have my own, but I'm going to love yours.
I mean, okay, well then that's great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So why did we pop? Maybe we should have kept those.
I'm confused.
Okay, I take that back.
I mean, because we're going in the stance that I already have mine, you already have yours. We're meeting someone new. Whether we're gonna have more together or just keep.
See, I didn't. That's not how I read it or listened to it.
So
I took it as,
how can we
I like kids, but only if I can essentially hand them back. So I'll babysit them, I'll look after them, but I'm not trying to have my own.
How about this?
That's why I popped the balloon.
He has 5 kids of his own.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
What's the number? Like 4, 3? What's like? Is it the amount of?
Okay, sir. I need context,
sir.
I need to know
how many.
I need details.
Yeah, how many?
There's a lot that would require some follow-up
But
questions.
5 is like you're not trying to have a whole basketball team in a sub,
right? And with the potential for more.
Yeah. But maybe if it's 1.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I
blended family. Yeah, I love that.
1,000% open to a blended family.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Okay, question 9.
I am.
If he smells and looks better than you, are you staying or are you heading for the door?
Yo.
Why? I'm not popping.
No, me neither.
I would hope your hygiene is up to par.
Listen, when I met Paul, like the way because like when I met him, he was just like another level of good looking, and like it was just crazy like how all the attention shifted to him in our relationship. We'd be on vacations and literally everybody was just like stopping and
You're like, what am I?
I'm like,
chopped liver?
Exactly. Because my last relationship, I was the
You both are the prize in this marriage.
Well, yes, thank you very much. So I'm not popping because I like that.
Yeah. You said he smells good and looks better than you. Looks better than me. According to who?
So like, I mean, maybe just how he puts himself together, like dresses.
You know what? Listen, I understand like this line of thought. Basically, because some women don't like or don't want to date and be with a pretty man.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I'm okay
there's
with
like
it.
there's that border.
Yeah.
There's like that line to tread. Like, yes, of course, like you want someone confident, but then sometimes almost if it's too, like maybe.
I feel like you could like Paul. I would say he's like confident, but he's not cocky. So it's like, you know, he doesn't ever want to be told he's good looking. So like when people stare at him, they're like, "What are you looking at?"
And then that part is attracted to you.
Yeah, exactly. So
no, but we're not popping our bubbles.
No.
Our balloon.
We want our man to look good.
Yeah.
Smell good.
Question 10. If he says he is spiritual but not religious, and his main altar is a shelf of crystals.
You didn't hear that? Yo! I was waiting because I was like, okay, the spiritual thing, you know, religious, you know, you can be.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, the
a shelf of what?
Yeah, there
a
ain't
shelf
no
of No,
sir, no.
You and Mercury Gatorade.
Where's your Bible? Where's the shelf with the Bible? Oh my gosh, I really need to be careful right now. Where's our sponsorship? Can you pass me a balloon? Is there?
Oh, do you
Too many balloons.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's
Okay.
Yeah, no, that I'm sorry.
No. Oh my gosh.
Listen, we both know how important our faith is.
And it's important to us.
Yeah,
Period.
exactly.
We have no time to be playing.
Did you clock that you said Mercury Gatorade? That's so
What is it
funny.
called?
You know what I'm talking
What
about.
is it
I
called?
don't know.
Retrograde.
Retrograde.
Whatever.
Yo, Gatorade's
Next
about to,
question.
Gatorade is about to snatch that name and make millions. Thank
Okay.
you, Gatorade,
Question
for giving us our
11.
check.
He would rather cook a meal together on a Saturday instead of ordering in.
Oh, I love that.
That's a green flag.
That is just, come on.
That's a green flag.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 12.
Okay.
He gets a mani and pedi every month.
With me, I like that.
I'm not mad at
I don't
that.
need crusty ankles and feet touching me.
Listen, if he takes his socks off and it's snowing and we're indoors. See, so I would much rather you take the time.
Yeah.
Once a month, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Once a month.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. He sends you 3 minutes voice notes instead of texting.
Oh, you know I love that.
That's another green flag. Why not? We like to talk.
We like to talk. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
the voice notes.
if he plays golf and plays every weekend with the boys.
Shoot, I play
Right,
golf every
exactly.
weekend with the girls. So
We just gotta find the babysitter.
yeah, no,
I
that's
love
great.
that.
Yeah, because then that just means we have something in common.
Yeah, or you
that's
either
a mutual hobby.
Exactly,
we
you
can share.
play together or you can play separately,
Separate.
and no one's gonna be mad.
Yes.
No one is gonna be
Exactly.
mad or upset.
I wouldn't be upset. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would no at all. I think it's important for men to have a hobby that's healthy, you know. And as long as we have
both partners in the relationship should have their
a
own
hobby,
thing. Yeah.
and then we take turns going to do them. But because it's golf, I feel like someone would just need to watch our kids. Or we
that's
take
a great
turns
that's a
on
great
weekends.
point. So for instance, like
One weekend you get the week 1, he gets week 2, you guys get week 3 together. Week 4 is like, I don't know, because he likes to go but he might have to compromise a little bit.
is that how you feel with airsoft?
Airsoft and well, at first, no. I think with so airsoft is like a huge hobby of Paul's, and it's a thing that.
Yeah.
It's a hobby and it takes up a lot of time
Yeah.
and money. But I think because when he was doing it, I wasn't able to do anything because of the ages of our kids.
Yeah, true.
So I was irritated, upset. But then he would find, so we don't have a big village, but when he could, he would ask his family to support me during that time. And I appreciated that because he arranged the kids to not be with me.
Yeah.
Which was huge.
So then you can still get your quiet.
But now I can go plan my own stuff, and he has his thing, I have my thing,
Yeah.
and it's nice. It's really
That is
good.
nice.
But it's not nice when it's always the same. The mom usually, I'm just gonna say that, in most cases at home with the kids.
Well, I mean, in this example of using the word like the sport of golf, it's because let's be honest, golf takes way longer, right?
Way longer.
Playing 18 holes, like you could be gone for upwards from like 4 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem, right?
Yeah.
So if the other person, if their hobby, is going to a yoga class or going to a Pilates class,
Yeah.
and that only takes an hour, right? Like
Yeah, it has
it's a
to-
bit unbalanced,
yeah,
which
it's-
I totally understand. But
Yeah.
that's why
I would love
good
that.
thing I like golf.
Question 15. If he likes to take a day to discuss an argument, is that an immediate deal breaker?
So here, let me explain why.
okay.
I'm not opposed to taking time separate and then, coming back and discussing it. But it's just like the context, as long as there's no stonewalling
Yeah.
and not like, yeah.
Ignoring or
Yes.
silent
Yes.
treatment.
Yes. So that's why I popped it.
Yeah, I'm half and half. I think I'd rather not talk to them or the person who's upset in the heat of the moment and not communicate properly. But then again, waiting a whole day is a long time because then you might not address it. So I'm like,
I'm half and
half. I'm not going to pop it just
Okay.
to save the balloon, but
I know we're running out of balloons.
It's okay. This is the last question. Would you date someone who refers to his ex as crazy every other sentence?
Oh, I missed it. But pop it for me.
yeah.
No, sir.
There's always 3 sides to a story.
Yes. Yours, hers, and the truth.
Exactly. So
No, absolutely. Sir, why did she get crazy? Or what?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, there has to be some, because it's one thing to, share your story, and we all have a past. We all have exes and whatnot. But if the person's constantly only portraying them as the cray-cray one and they're innocent,
yeah, no.
nah.
No.
So,
Because when stuff goes wrong with you two and he's, saying your name and the word crazy out there in this world, like, I don't know.
okay, that wraps it up for our edition.
That was
Thanks,
fun.
Malika.
I wonder if we walked into the room and there was every person was lined up with a balloon. How many? I just that game is kind of
How many would pop their
yeah, but it's all based off of first off of looks, and then it's the person starts sharing what they're about, and then people just start bopping. I don't know. I get anxious when I watch it because you have to be really strong in who you are because it's like you're popping a balloon based off.
Yeah, but I mean, in my opinion, though, I think it's more geared towards popping and creating views as opposed
yeah.
right. In reality, would I ever consider that I would find the love of my life on a show like that? No.
No, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus has to send my husband meet me at a grocery store.
Yeah. You never know where, but that was fun.
There you go. That about does it. And I think we are right on time.
Look at it. I love this.
Okay, so that ends the third quarter of the show. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will wrap things up
with some dating tips from the
non-experts. Stay with us. Welcome back to the fourth quarter here at Mama and Her. We have been talking all things dating, love, finding the one, and popping red balloons and our non-negotiables and all that good stuff. But as we wrap up today's episode, we want to leave you with some, I guess, fast dating tips or nuggets of advice, if you will, from us as non-experts. Because clearly I'm participating in this in real time. Well, at least I'm beginning to be open to. Exactly. So we'll start with you, Shan, since you're the married one of almost 10 years.
21.
No, together. Okay, sorry.
21 together.
Yeah.
11 married. But listen, when I tell you, I'm not discounting those 10 years before.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because we stayed together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, I am a true believer in when it's time, God will present you with your man. So what I did after I broke up with that relationship that I thought was going to be the one, and it wasn't, I wrote a letter to my future husband. Someone told me to do this, and I literally basically described to him in the letter what I loved about him, what I appreciated about him. I went from like the physical, like what I liked about physically about him, to emotionally, to spiritually. Everything I listed was basically what I wanted in my future husband. And I put it in my journal. Like it was a real letter to my future husband. It was beautiful. When I tell you, I met Paul a couple months later, and I was not expecting to meet someone that would be my husband. I did. And I am a true believer in thoughts become things, manifestation, but through like prayer and, just believing that you are deserving of a loving person, like the person of your dreams. So when, like I said, exceeded my expectations for many reasons. So number one, write out what your ideal person would be, husband would be, and be honest, like from outrageous things to the small things, like whatever it may.
There's no detail too small, especially when God's listening.
No.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I see now that people are so distracted. I say look up. Like whenever you're in a situation where you're around people, you're being social, look up. Don't be on your phone. Make eye contact with people. Even if it's not the person you think you're going to talk to, they might know someone who'd be perfect for you. So talk to strangers. I love talking to strangers. Oh my gosh. To the point where it sometimes gets awkward because I'm like, I don't want to give off the wrong signals, but I just love people. So look up from your phone when you're in a situation where there's people around, or even just wherever. Stop being distracted. Okay. And then I think it's just be open to meeting someone anywhere. If it's an app, if that's what you feel like you want to try it out. You just never know. This is one of my favorite sayings. Anything can happen in a day. You can meet your future husband. You can get pregnant.
Ooh.
You can
to the future husband.
Yeah. You could literally, your life you could die.
Yeah.
And anything, you could get that email that changes your life, or you win that lottery, or you whatever it is. Anything can happen today, and that's including who you can meet. So those are my tips.
I almost feel like you're Kevin Garnett.
What?
KG, like anything is possible. You know that? Right?
Yeah.
You won the championship. Yeah. Okay, those are some good tips.
Thank you.
You know what? Honestly, I wrote down, I don't, because I'm still figuring this out my dang self. No, okay. In all seriousness, I think based off of everything that I have experienced and gone through, my small nugget of advice, or with what I have learned simply right now, take your time.
Take your time.
Take your time. The idea that we have to rush or jump into something, whether, what'd you say?
The slow burn of
Hey,
everything.
there's nothing wrong with a slow burn, but just in general, like if you are listening to this and there's a lot of things today that, you know, in this episode you relate to, if you're someone who maybe you're not in the exact same boat as me, but maybe you're in a similar boat, right? Like, there is no rush. So yeah, just take your time, pray on it, pray on a lot of things. I think even for me, when I am open to it, one thing that I want to be mindful of is to, you know, pray for discernment, pray for the other person, pray that I stay rooted in what matters to me and I don't get distracted over things that may have once distracted me when I was, you know, younger and maybe more naive. So I would just say overall, take your time, girl.
Also, wait, if you're dating, I mean, if you're married, let's just say a reminder. And we have to do this because we do a horrible job. Date your husband.
Absolutely. Yes. Date your
Go
husband.
on dates.
And
once
date your
month.
wife.
I feel like whatever. Date your husband.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We hope you laughed, learned a little thing or two. Again, Mama and Her is the place where motherhood, faith, and community meet. And by the way, in case you didn't know,
Ooh.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk about our cute little sweaters we got on. So again, big shout out to my cousin Ruby for these, and Mama and Her merch dropping soon.
Should we?
Dun, dun, dun. Stay tuned. But on behalf of Shannon and I, we love you and we thank you for rocking with us, and we will see you next time. Bye.